Yo, what up, what up, what up? Wally here, bringing you a team deathmatch on WMD using the FAMAS silence today. That's right, I am a FAMAS hole, and I'd highly recommend this gun to anybody playing team deathmatch because, first off, the silencer obviously helps because, when you're in team deathmatch, especially if you want to do really well, being aggressive and pushing spawn helps. And obviously, when you're in that spawn, you don't want to have all the attention directed on you immediately. So having the silencer really allows you to pick off a guy or two before the rest of the people turn on you and makes it a lot easier to be in that spawn. And obviously, we all know that the silencer comes with, a price, and that is it cuts off damage that you do at range. But with the FAMAS, it works really well because the fire rate is so high that the damage that you lose really isn't all that detrimental, I guess, to your whole success when using this kit. But, that's all I'm really going to talk on the gameplay, and that's not really a big surprise coming from me. I don't talk about gameplay too much. But what is surprising today is I've decided to talk a little bit about my thoughts on this game as a whole and the community that kind of surrounds it. So let me just say that I'm not going to go where you guys think that I am. I'm not here to talk about how I think certain classes are unbalanced or a certain gun is too overpowered or that Ghost, is ruining the pace of the game. Because in my opinion, every Call of Duty seems to have these little hiccups and seems to have these problems. And, this game's no different. And, of course, it's nice to address those things so that it can be fixed. But, there are plenty of other commentators who do an excellent job of that, so I'm not going to touch on that right now. Instead, I'm just going to give you guys my experience over the last week and a half or so. So let me explain where I'm coming from first off. I've been lucky enough to start playing with I'm the Whitest Kid You Know and Saint and of course Piglet. So we've been running full parties pretty regularly now. And while running full parties is a lot of fun and it's great, there is a opportunity cost that comes along with doing so, and it's the difficulty to finish a game to its completion. Pretty much over the last week or so, I've noticed a lot of people are backing out of games, and I mean, like almost to the point where you couldn't help but notice it, and it couldn't help but be detrimental to your experience while playing the game. Just yesterday, I had played I think like 7 games, and every single game in a row, the entire opposing team backed out. So that was 42 people that were not willing to stay in the game. And of course, it's really easy to look at this and take it at face value and either, first of all, blame developers of Black Ops along with JD 2020 and all those people for not allowing the game to bring people in as easily as it used to. And it's also easy to just say, well, that's just because people don't want to play against a full team. That's just because people don't, you know, they want to get high KDs. They want to play against people who are newer. They want to play against newer players. So they just back out constantly. And I don't think that that's the case because if you look at the previous Call of Duties, it really wasn't as prevalent as it is now. People back out far more regularly, and it's kind of problematic. And I think it really actually showcases a far larger problem, in my opinion, that exists in this community. And so when I was trying to figure this out, I was like, well, why are things so different? Why are things so different in Black Ops? I kind of was taking a look at what's going on in this game that wasn't going on in the predecessors. And really what it is how public the stats are. And me and Sane actually got to talking about this a little bit, that like people are so concerned with their stats and other people's stats. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm not part of this problem and that I don't do this as well, because I like pretty much every other person. When I go into a lobby and I see the person who's like quote unquote the top dog in that lobby, the person who's right up at the top, their score is high, I immediately go over to their player card, look at their combat record, take all those numbers and almost size them up and be like, well, what do I got to do to beat this kid? How good is he? How much of my try-hard pants do I need to throw on? And that is a ridiculous notion. It is not correct, and I feel like it kind of makes us approach this game in a way that isn't really how it should be approached. And please don't misinterpret what I'm saying here, because I'm not trying to tell you guys that either like KD doesn't matter or that points per minute or win-loss, like none of that stuff matters, because those are very helpful indicators, especially when you're tracking your own personal growth as a player or anything like that. But I think we tend to take these numbers to mean too much. And let me explain. Like, for instance, I think I run with, a pretty decent group of players, some of them that I just named, and they're all good at the game. But like I don't feel like their skill level varies as much as their KD might indicate. Pretty much the people are ranging from like a 1.5 KD to around a 3 KD. And I wouldn't say that I notice a big difference between the players who have a 1.5 KD and the players that have a 3 KD. I feel like every single player is almost just as good, and it's not noticeable. So, before you guys tend to worry about these numbers too much, I think it's important that we come to realize that they're not necessarily the end all be all, and it's definitely not a full description of how good someone is at this game. And I feel like if we're able to do that, maybe we can stop ourselves from backing out so much. Like I said, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm coming across extremely hypocritical right now because it's something I need to work on myself. And I've been trying to think like how this problem is so bad. I wonder if us commentators just kind of compound upon it. Because if you guys look at what I'm showing you guys right now as I talk about this, it's a 33 KD game. And I understand that. And it's part of the reason I put it up, just to highlight my hypocrisy and how ridiculous of a human being I myself am. So, kind of I think what we do as commentators almost, and I know we don't flat out say this, but I think it's kind of almost an implied thing. And I'm not saying this like a personal belief of mine, but a lot of times we show you games that are good. We show that we're successful at the gameplay. We show you high KD games, and it's kind of almost stating the fact that, listen, I get a good KD. I know what I'm doing in this game, so my opinion matters, and you should listen to me. That is kind of almost an implied message that comes with this whole YouTube community in my mind. And it's something that I need to break away from because I think it only helps drive the problem that we're currently facing. So my question to you guys is, do you want to see me throw up a gameplay that's a little bit more average than what I usually post? Because I think it could be something helpful. I mean, I've told you guys time and time again, I'm not the greatest player out there, and I will stand by that. It's the reason I chose my name, Skillfully Lucky, because I honestly feel that sometimes I'm lucky enough to get good gameplays, and I'm more than happy to share them with you guys. But I, by no illusions, consider myself to be one of the greatest players out there, and I think sometimes when we watch videos, at least personally for myself, and I'm not saying that you guys have this perception of me, but sometimes I think these players are so great, and then I want to take everything that they say to heart. But really, I mean, that's not the case, I mean, for the most part, I feel like the people I've gotten to play with who aren't, YouTubers are just as good, and, the numbers, I guess if I could leave you guys one point, the numbers aren't as important as we make them out to be. So please do yourself a favor and try to break away from that and just have fun with the game. That's going to do it for me. Sorry to run past the video. Peace.